Hello, this is Cage Master here, and welcome to a video. Now, throughout my channel I've been discussing movies that I've been working on for years, and a couple of times I mentioned a horror film called Morbid Despair. Now this movie, there's going to be two movies called Morbid Despair. Now, alright, let me just start off with a YouTuber named Delirium. Now, he was well known as a creator in Little Big Planet. If you don't know what Little Big Planet is, well, Little Big Planet is a game, came out in 2008, but it was, I think, now, one of my favorite childhood games. I constantly play it because people make levels and they share, they make their own stories and all that kind of stuff. This was before Minecraft and Fortnite and all that kind of stuff. And one of the few levels that I played was Morbid Despair, made by Delirium. He was a well-known creator in the community of Little Big Planet. And he made two parts. This was going back to 2008, I think, in 2010. He made a level sort of like based on H.P. Lovecraft, with reanimating the dead and all that kind of stuff. I even have a whole book of H.P. Lovecraft called the Necronomicon. Has all the stories of H.P. Lovecraft. I don't know if they're shortened, I'm not too sure, but yeah, it's a really neat book. I also have Grey's Anatomy, not the TV show. It's a book based on cutting open people and all that kind of stuff. It's sort of a medical book about the body and all that kind of stuff. Stuff like this. And let me find a page for you. There's one on the arm there. Now, I've been reading this book and it's absolutely a brilliant book. These two books are sort of my guidance to making this movie. I made like a when I was 10, I think, I made a very short, very old video. I never put this up in the public. This was before I had YouTube access, but I always wanted to be on YouTube. Now, this little short sort of movie, I didn't have much to go with. It was just like a fake fan trailer of Delirium's idea and concept to be in a movie. Now, he had two parts. One was part one, which is still available. So when part one was finished and made, had a lot of attention, and people were scared, and you know, it was just a really good level, in fact. And then eventually, I think in 2011 or just 2010, I think it was 2010, part two of the story was released. And it was so great. It was more into the story had more to do with the creepy body horror of the evil mad scientist's work, in a way, of reanimating the dead. It was more to do with that level. Now, the second level has suspense, but it's got more into it than the first one. The first one has a lot of things in it, but it's mostly a little bit longer, and it's a lot longer, and it has just more of the dark and creepy factor. And the second one has the creepy factor, and it's a blend of the creepy and the body horror and all the creatures and all that kind of stuff. I remember it so well. In fact, I have some photos here that you are seeing right now. I remember some of the set areas, I remember this, I remember that, but I don't remember the dialogue, because due to when I first played these at the time, I couldn't read. I can read now, but the main problem was in the second part was some of the glitches that occurred, especially with the professor. Now, the professor was meant to disappear in a part where you have to go, and unfortunately, there was some weird error glitch that he couldn't disappear, so you can't go past, and if you do, you die, and you know, you gotta start over again. In fact, I think that's what happened, and Delirium just got rid of the level. I guess he had trouble, trying to make or fix the issues. I don't know the real case, why it was taken away, but I'm only speculating what just happened. Now, over the years, and I haven't forgot about it, but I've forgotten over it because I got other things on my mind, had other things to play and all that kind of stuff, but other levels, but I truly remember his level, so I was so into his level that I keep recreating some of the atmosphere and some of this and that. In fact, it got to a point in 2018, I finally made the level. So the way I made this level was basically, I took some inspiration from the photos he did, but not drastically made the way that his level was. I took some artistic points to his second level, and I expanded upon, and I sort of made it a lot more detail and a little bit more bigger and impact, and some of the throughout the level, like in his level, you can collect pages and books and stuff you can read, and yeah, so I did something like that, but there was so many errors in this as well, and due to glitches, like the way the lighting is a bit off to the PlayStation 4 version of this level. So yeah, I did some redesigned some of the ideas that he had. Really, it was so beautifully done the way I did it. It's just unfortunately, there was so many problems that I might consider adding some extra stuff in this level, and there were some pieces here and there that felt a little bit lazy, and I should expand upon that and fix some of the issues that I had. And what else? I'm not too sure. Well, yeah, I might fix a couple of the jump scares and just make it very, very just like the way that Delirium had it in mind. In fact, he is basically making the game, another version of the game anyway. On to the movie. Well, I uploaded a video on the theme song that he had on his level. Now, the theme song, I want you to listen closely. A theme song that someone made, created by Miller Longbow, originally by Darkly Kill. So now, that was the theme song of Elven Light, which is an anime and a very interesting show. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm gonna get around to watching it. So now I don't know if Delirium knows this or not, but the theme song in his level, Morbid Despair, the theme is in reverse of this music. So if I play this backwards, you'll hear this. It was just a quick showing because it's really cool and interesting that Delirium made an interesting song out of reversing the theme song from Ellen Light, and which later I've recreated the song with instruments from Little Big Planet 2. So just a little interesting little background behind the level, and you know, just some details and stuff like that. Okay. Now, I'm not big on anime, but I love the music, and I have a passion for animation, special effects, all the above for filmmaking and all that kind of shit. When I was working on the music, I recreated the music that he had in the level. Now I didn't know that Delirium had a YouTube channel. I didn't know he was making on a adaptation of his previous stories, and now he's out there recreating his levels into dreams, which is good for you, Delirium, for doing that. Now, I just want to make this video because it seems like, I don't know, really, just for the sake, because I'm tired of sitting here working on the movies. So this is sort of a way of giving you idea, because the reason why I didn't want to do these kind of videos, showing you my movies and showing you piecing it, because I wanted the factor of surprise and shock value and all that kind of shit. But unfortunately, over the years, it seems like a lot of people are working on movies and video games that have similar elements of my stuff that I've been working my ass on. So now this was one of the few scripts that I've made. Now people are going to be saying, hey, the COVID thing. This was made, and the character made before the COVID was a thing. I made the levels were the story I expand upon, make it more cinematic, was made way before the COVID thing. So I don't want people blasting all kinds of crap saying that this character, well, because this character is a mad scientist. Now the story is pretty vague to memory here of this character in the Delirium's story and level. I do remember a lot from part 1. Part 2's been taken down. I do remember everything that happened besides the dialogue and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know this guy's real name. I think it's mentioned, or it's not mentioned, in his remake called Morbid Despair Infection. So this script and the characters, I posted this on Facebook. I mentioned the script, the movie, the concept ideas, all the artwork and all that shit. Now I did this portrait, it's because there was little to work with besides what was in Delirium's levels. You have the main character, which is like a mad scientist, that he sees himself as some kind of god, which is trying to basically, there's a long kidnapping spree of people getting kidnapped and shit. And I think I'm redoing the script once again, because I do these drawings to help me vision of what I'm doing and what's happening. I also do like to put just writing in words and stuff like that, but I also like to give a vision like comic book style doodlies, is that the word for it, what I'm doing, and it's sort of expanding what was written down on a piece of paper, sort of a showcase really, the stuff I've been working on. Now, I really wanted to keep this a secret, and eventually I can finish this film, but unfortunately it's going to probably take more years, because I got other things I'm currently working on. I got a bunch of other films, and I've started on a different film, and I need to get it finished, but unfortunately the stuff I need is currently it's coming, and I'm currently going back to acting certain scenes that wasn't finished, and going back to finishing the entire film. Now all of my films, the reason why I did this video is not because I'm desperate, but just to show you and proof that if any dickhead or any stupid person that doesn't know me and accusing me of stealing something, accusing me of copying this from this other film, because this movie I worked on envisioned my entire life from 2008. So because I've done the artwork and the creatures in 2018, and all I got was people complaining and people saying that this looks like from Stranger Things, or this is from Stranger Things, you just copy that, all that kind of shit. Here's the thing, I have proof. I'm not stealing from him, mostly expanding upon his levels and what was in less detail in a... Here's an example. Look at this photo here. See, on the left is Delirium's character here, and on the right is a character that I expand on in real live action. So now this movie, I'm gonna say the basic story of this, rewriting the script anyway, so this is sort of not gonna be exactly what I'm saying, but so basically the story is some person is late for work or something, so he goes out into the street in the city and then gets kidnapped, and then he's in this kind of world, so this kind of world underground and completely alone compared with all the other people. So you got like the police that are looking for this kidnapper, you got people that are looking for this missing people, it's on the news and everything, and this person here that kidnaps people is a professor, and he's all scarred up and shit like that, and I call him Dr. Mordred. So when I was working on Delirium's movie into live action, I didn't know until years later that there was a movie that's similar to Delirium's story. It was called Re-animator. Now, Re-animator is an 80s film that's based on H.P. Lovecraft, and it is a fantastic film. It is a pretty cool horror. It's more of a dark comedy movie than the serious tone that Delirium made. But guess what? The tone on Re-animator and Morbid Despair are not going to be the same tone. Herbert West from Re-animator, he's obviously a mad scientist, but in Morbid Despair, the scientist named Dr. Mordred is more evil, more serious, and far more worse than Herbert West. He's not doing this for good, unlike what Herbert West is trying to do something that you know it's not a good idea, and it always gets terrible results. So he's trying to improve his work to a point he was banished to work on his project by the other people that he worked with. The actor that plays as Herbert West, he is Jeffrey Combs. He's known for playing weird and villain-like horror roles that he doesn't have he's not a fan of horror and gore and that, but he has respect and appreciates people that do like that kind of stuff, and he does this stuff as acting and, you know, fun. Originally, Herbert West was, in the book, he's blonde, depicted as a blonde character. In the movie, yes, things has to be changed, but I think it suits more to, you know, white blondish hair in this film. I think it suits more that the black hair, and, like, you know, it's really, there's some other characters that weren't really in the film, and there was like a villain that was actually bald. That's kind of interesting, really. Delirium's scientist now. I couldn't remember his name. In fact, I don't know his real name, so I came up with the idea for the scientist named Dr. Mordred, or Professor Mordred. Now, here's another funny coincidence that I didn't know, is that the actor Jeffrey Combs played as Herbert West from Re-animator, H.P. Lovecraft. I didn't know he also played a role that is called Dr. Mordred. Now, that's just a funny coincidence, but guess what? Dr. Mordred was meant to be Doctor Strange, the Marvel film, but unfortunately they couldn't get the rights to Doctor Strange, so they had a leftover script from Doctor Mortalis, and they combined that with Doctor Strange, the comic book. So they got a unique movie that doesn't have to tie in with Doctor Strange, even though there is some pieces here that are clearly from Doctor Mortalis' script, and there's clearly some bits here that are clearly from the comic book of Doctor Strange. If you want to know more about that history, Good Bad Flicks covers that, and one of my favorite YouTubers, and if you want to know more of the history about that, link is in the description. And I'm just saying that because quite a big funny coincidence that I didn't know about. Alright, back to this film. Now, the movie is going to be practical, but if you played my version of the story, Louis Planet, it's basically sort of the same story as that, but some intentional details have been taken out. So the movie is not a direct copy of Delirium's work and my work on him trying to recreate his very good, interesting story. I even did the map. I don't know if you can see this. This is the map of the entire, making the entire movie. This is a way of showing that so the place is not just random pieces of rooms and that stuff like that. This is a way of going back, seeing what's accurate and what's not, because I had to like chart everything in his level and envisioned the other level he had to take down by memory. So I made the map in a way connecting, so it's not just there's this room and there's that room, it's all in one room. So I got the basic idea and making the entire room concepts. Originally I had little model sets, but now I'm thinking of doing 3D modeling and CGI with the power of green screen and puppets and practical effects. The only CGI thing I think was currently doing, the CGI thing that's going to be in this film is going to be the rooms and the layouts, and some work on the creature effects. That what I love about Delirium's idea was the fact that the creatures in his story are technically zombies. They're humanoid, but they're like freaking bombastically being parts of the human have been swapped DNA and absolutely reorganized into something that isn't look human and acts more like an animal. Take for instance the first creature that I think was shown was the Spiderhead. That's the title of the creature. Now God, I'm going all over the place. I'm sorry for those that are trying to keep up, but I am struggling to. I'm just going off the walls here. I think I should go back. Now, in one of my videos I put up recently, I mentioned this book here. Now, some of you might think this is to do with witchcraft or anything. No, it's nothing to do with it because it's just a pentagram. It doesn't mean witchcraft. Now, this diary. If you want to know what this diary is, and some people have seen it and are curious about, this diary is the notebook and work of Dr. Mordred himself. This is his life on reanimating the dead, and part of the story for the sequel that I'm working on that's to do with World War mixed with the Frankenstein myth and all this stuff. It has there is a movie that's been made like that before, but mine was more to do and faithfully and a connection. And what's really what I love about the sequel is that it's mostly my work, story that I recreated, and something that Delirium hasn't done before. I'm not saying that he has or hasn't, but the story of the sequel is mostly made up. It is canon to the first movie that I'm working on, and it is the characters that Delirium worked on, like Casey, morbid despair infection. And now, my version of the film, Casey's father, instead of it being his father, it's going to be his brother. Now, the brother is going to be the main character in the first movie, just like in the style of the first level that he recreated. And the sequel is going to be the brother looking for his sister named Casey. Casey is going to be a completely different designed character. She's going to be more of a young female character. And the sequel, before I get to the sequel, I might as well get into this anyway. Sorry, I'm going off the walls again. So yeah, these are all written down, stuff like this. Now, this has nothing to do with the Illuminati or to do with just a madman and as a scientist. Now, there's no demons or anything, even though now what I love about this is that I don't hint. There's not going to be mentioned demons. They're not going to be mentioned aliens or any sort of cult or anything, but just a madman recreating the purpose of humanoids to change evolution. Now, that was my idea of now this thing here is from Delirium's second part of in Living Planet. So I got the map, parts of the map and parts of the rooms and stuff. I really don't want to show you all of this because most of it is a spoiler to part 2 as well. So everything is organized, but it pains me just to show you what I can show you and what can I not. Like this is a specimen on the eyes, if you can read that. Now, the character Dr. Mordred, there's a lot of story in him, but it's not going to be mentioned in the first movie because he is German. All I'm going to say, he is German and he's not a Nazi. He's nothing like that. He's just a madman. And it's mentioned that he was during World War. I got stuff like this as well. So yeah. Delirium, I hope you're watching this and I hope you enjoy this because I do. Okay, here's the spider head. Now you can see here I went into more detail and even including the puppet, the little puppet that I made. No, I had to go in more detail of this because, again, it's because his work is all like 2D and 3D, actually 3D, because Little Planet, you have to use your imagination. You have to put your creative mind to make something, and that's not as realistic and looks very detailed because it takes away this thermometer, I think that's what it's called, and because it gives too much space and all that kind of stuff. So I put my mind and imagine what it would look like in real life, his work. So it's not just a recreation. This is not a money grab. This is nothing besides a true fan of your work, Delirium. And I had this movie planned and being made in 2018. But it was a start of me getting, and I had to delay the movie, and with the COVID thing, it's getting a little bit difficult now, and I'm not quitting the movie. I'm still working on it. So back to the actual script. I did some amazing artwork. I don't know if you can see this. I might take a picture of it, but I'm going to show you here anyway. This is Dr. Mordred looking down in his gruesome depiction of his creation and seen as a god, because you see all these creatures all around him because he created them, and you can see that is a depiction of him. Now, I don't know if you can see this on the other side at this over here. That's the main character at the end of the back with a gun. So this is all planned out just the way of his level, but absolutely a brilliant way of mine of making the story and recreating the characters and making and coming up with new creature ideas that weren't. For instance, this guy. Now, I had a dream of this character back in 2017. A dream that I had, it was a bit of a mixture of H.R. Giger, or H.R. Geiger, I don't know how to pronounce his name, he's a brilliant artist. And it's a mix with H.P. Lovecraft. Now, this creature is a mix of both ideas. And it was a dream that I had where this creature was like a cyborg, alien-like thing. The face split open. But it was like a face, and it's sort of like in the creature in Mimic. Now, the face splits open, reveals teeth around here, not all around, and it has human teeth and a tongue that goes out. Now again, this was just a coincidence, and it's a similar creature named the Demogorgon from Stranger Things. Here's the thing. I'm not gonna hate. I don't hate the Stranger Things. I love Stranger Things, but it sort of overwhelms me that people compare my work to Stranger Things. There's no connection besides the way it looks, besides the way the creatures look, and that's it. My creature design is mostly based on H.P. Lovecraft's work and H.R. Geiger's work. Stranger Things is a TV program that is, and the story and everything is set in the 80s. And it has references to everything to do with 80s movies like John Carpenter's The Thing, to do with just a lot of stuff really, and it hints there in that. And the Demogorgon is a creature that is to do, and it's a creature design that's, no, it is in this show, it is based off of, it is said that it's based on different animal parts, but here's the thing. The creature design and mix is a mixed feel with every horror, with a lot of 80s films, and you see what I'm getting at. If you don't, I don't care really, but that's what I'm trying to say, is that Stranger Things is it's a great program. It's got its own story, but most of the story has reference points to other films that connect. Like, for instance, the Pennywise It, the book series, with a lot of top horror directors like John Carpenter, that he worked on The Thing, and it's even mentioned a couple of times. You can see references here and there. Like Carrie, all the shit, like all the references to do with the 80s of the era, like with all mostly 80s horror films. That is what it's trying to, that's what it is. And it's a tribute and love of 80s, like Killer Clowns, Murder Space, and Day of the Dead. Now, my movie is mostly based on Delirium's work and the feel, and set in 2008. This is not to do with Stranger Things. This is not to do with the COVID virus thing, because this was made before the COVID was a thing, really. It just so happens the character wears, yeah. Anyway, moving on. This is another piece of my artwork of the movie. So yeah, I've been working my ass and life on this film. And it pains me to show you this because I wanted to keep this secret. My stepmom and I had a whole session and recorded a video of us discussing the movie. We did not upload it yet because originally I wanted to upload it as a feature and an interview when my movie came out. Okay. So yeah. Now this is here's an artwork that I did many moons ago. I did this when I was 10. Now this was made when I was 10 years old. See, yeah. Moments of what the movie is going to be like. There's me, and I'm currently dressed as the same outfit I am right now. So you got segments, visual depictions of what Delirium's work and style of him. Yeah, so yeah. This is a quick sketch of the main character running away from this spider head character in the sewers. And again, the spider head, but I came up in more details and I came up with a puppet, and I made it depicted more detailed depiction and version of the creature design that Delirium made. And again, people also, I even showed some of my creature designs back at school a long time ago, and people even say that this creature here looks like the shadow monster. And again, it bugs me to say this, and it bugs me that people compare my work to Stranger Things. And again, I don't hate Stranger Things. I love the program, but it overwhelms me. Again, in a way, I'm proud that they compare my work to theirs, but it also irritates me that to a point that when people compare your work to other people's work, other people will indeed say that you stole this concept from Stranger Things or whatever in such. It's not. I did not steal anything besides got permission, and I went my way of recreating the characters that Delirium had made. And again, the reason why I'm working on this film is because, as Delirium said in the past, I don't know if he's changed his mind or not, but he said he is not going to be continuing on this version of the story he did on Morbid Despair. He is currently working on, because he did the Morbid Despair Infection, which is sort of like a reboot, sort of an indication to the other story in the other story in a way, and a connection to the another game he put on Dreams Planet. Now, Morbid Despair, it revolves around you as the player, going through this immense, intriguing environment and creepy environment of this character, and you're alone in the world because you're like an underground or like a big humongous factory place, whatever and you're trying to get out because you're kidnapped and you're being chosen to be a test subject for his reanimation and gruesome things. Now here's the thing, this is not, I don't think this was part of the his work, but I made some dialogue. Most of the dialogue and everything is made up because there wasn't much dialogue in the thing. So the main character, he does talk a lot, and he doesn't say things out of his words. He speaks in his mind, and this is for realism and things and this movie here. Everything's scripted very smartly. No stupid stupid decisions in the movie. He doesn't talk out loud like, oh, now this key. Oh no. With the audience, he's talking in his mind, and he's scared shitless throughout the movie, but not to a point that will make you stupid decisions. This character does things along as he goes. He's trying to get out. He doesn't. He's basically, what would you do in a situation like this, really? I planned this really well, and here's the thing. I did not think about this at first, but I remember in Delirium's, I keep saying Delirium's because that's the name of his YouTube channel and the name of his creator. I don't know his real name, so that's that. There's a scene in between the movie where the main character walks in a room, a lot of dead bodies. Now those dead bodies were the missing people that was mentioned on the news in the beginning of the film. And all those missing people, they're on a table being operated on. Here's the thing. At the end with the mad scientist, not at the end, but in the middle of the movie with the mad scientist, he says, he's working on one of his specimens. He says, soon I will change evolution for a new world. and that's the dialogue I put in the movie. No, that's not really what he says. He said something similar to those words, and thinking about all those creatures and zombies that broke out in Delirium's Morbid Despair infection, and connecting back to Delirium's older work with the dead bodies, because there's a sequence that happens in part 2, unfortunately got deleted from. I distinctly remember there's a sequence where one of the specimens on the table gets up. I just realized when I was scripting this, I realized that part 2 and part 1 is sort of a connection to Morbid Despair infection, because if you realize something, that this mad scientist is trying to change the environment and trying to change the world and trying to change his perspective on humans. Dead bodies that are reanimated and they're still zombified. One of them gets out. Now imagine if all of them got out and they're all around this building. And that just got me in the head. Whoa. So that's how the infection and how the outbreak started from Delirium's infection zombie level. Yeah. Now I don't know if Delirium know that, but it was very intriguing that I remembered and realized that there's some kind of connection going on with that. Now that is sort of scripted in this movie. Now there's this interesting character that's trying to, in the sequel, and it's mentioned in this book. Now this character, Dr. Mordred, here's a spoiler alert, he dies from his own creation, his own, like the Frankenstein myth, an artwork I did of Dr. Mordred getting killed by his own creation. Again, another spoiler alert. These are teasers. Dr. Mordred dies, yes, but all of his research and work is left, and some of it is destroyed and lost. Here's the thing. What if he wasn't the only one that was working on this? What if that someone else was with him but couldn't get to him? Now, there's this character that I came up with. Now, the second movie has a new character besides Dr. Mordred, but he's not like, oh, he's going to continue Dr. Mordred's work. But no, he was working with Dr. Mordred during World War. Now, this character here, his name is Dr. Rue Morgue. Now, he is mentioned in this book. He is also mentioned a brother-in-law, but they both are different country. They're both from different countries. Dr. Rue Morgue is from England, and Dr. Mordred, he is German, not from Germany. But they're in a brother-in-law. They see themselves as a brother, and they're both trying to accomplish something. But it is not what you think. All I'm gonna say about the sequel, and it's a connection to do with John's missing sister, Casey. A little bit tired, and I had enough talking about this video and discussion about this movie, and I don't want to spoil anything else, and I don't want people saying that, oh, when I get around finishing the movie, when it's uploaded on YouTube, I don't want people to tell me that I'm taking someone else's work. In a way, I am from Delirium, but I got permission from him, so I'm not stealing it. I don't want any of you guys saying that this is a connection of COVID. And again, like I said this for the third time, I don't hate Stranger Things. I love Stranger Things. I don't want people saying this is the connection or reminiscent of Stranger Things. That's all I've been getting throughout the years, really. Yeah, hope you like this video, and remember, I'll see you in the future. Bye.